Hello friends! Today the book I'm going to be sharing is by Shel Silverstein. It's written and illustrated by him, and it's called Where the Sidewalk Ends. I've chosen to share this book today because Shel Silverstein is a very diverse poem writer. He writes a lot of poems about like weird and wacky things, and I want my students to think outside the box. I don't want them to be like afraid of writing poetry because they think they have to write a certain kind of poetry. And then I want this reading poems like I'm going to read today to open up their minds to the world of poetry and the world of writing. So the three standards that go along with this read aloud are actually all fourth grade standards. So the first one is to determine the theme of a poem. The second one is to explain major differences between poems and to refer to the structural elements of poems. And then lastly, to refer to details and examples in a text when explaining what the text says explicitly and when drawing inferences from the text. That last one's a bit wordy, but very relevant to poems. So, the specific poem I'm going to read today is called Peanut Butter Sandwich. I'll sing you a poem of a silly young king who played with the world at the end of a string, but he only loved one single thing, and that was just a peanut butter sandwich. His scepter and his royal gowns, his regal throne and golden crowns, were brown and sticky from the mounds and drippings from each peanut butter sandwich. His subjects all were silly fools, for he had passed a royal rule, that all that they could learn in school was how to make a peanut butter sandwich. He would not eat his sovereign steak, he scorned his soup and kingly cake, and told his courtly cook to bake an extra sticky peanut butter sandwich. And then one day he took a bite and started chewing with delight, but found his mouth was stuck quite tight from that last bite of peanut butter sandwich. His brother pulled, his sister pried, the wizard pushed, his mother cried. My boy's committed suicide from eating his last peanut butter sandwich. The dentist came and the royal doc, the royal plumber banged and knocked, but still those jaws stayed tightly locked. Oh darn that sticky peanut butter sandwich. The carpenter, he tried with pliers, the telephone man tried with wires, the firemen, they tried with fire, but couldn't melt that peanut butter sandwich. With ropes and pulleys, drills and coil, with steam and lubricating oil, for 20 years of tears and toil, they fought that awful peanut butter sandwich. Then all his royal subjects came. They hooked his jaws with grappling chains, and pulled both ways with might and main against that stubborn peanut butter sandwich. Each man and woman, girl and boy, put down their plows and pots and toys, and pulled until crack! Oh joy! They broke right through that peanut butter sandwich. A puff of dust, a screech, a squeak, the king's jaw opened with a creak, and then in voice so faint and weak, the first words that they heard him speak were, "How about a peanut butter sandwich?" So the article that goes along with this book that I thought was pretty cool is written by Douglas Mattis, and it's called The Benefits from Reading Poems. And I don't think the article was directly aimed at students, but he talks a lot about the benefits specifically for children. So first, he says that reading poetry to students can actually increase their critical thinking skills and helps them to become active readers in every content area, not just English language arts. And then next, obviously in fourth grade, students' minds are still developing and growing, and so reading poetry like this helps them to become empathetic readers and more compassionate people and students. And then lastly, it encourages their engagement in other art forms, not just specifically poetry. So it's going to make them better readers and writers in the long run. Thank you.